Up until about 2013, I would say my life was pretty normal. I had a happy marriage, healthy wife. Both my parents were living. All 5 of our kids were doing great. We had a strong church. Business was doing well. We had challenges, of course, but there was nothing that required us to endure much of anything. I would say that my faith up until that point was what someone would call a overcoming faith, not an enduring faith. Essentially, the lie that I was believing was that if I followed God, if I served Him, that I would be immune from a lot of the significant trials that come upon people. I had no idea what was coming around the corner. Beginning in 2013, my dad got ill and then ultimately passed. And then within a few months, my mother was ill. My wife is beginning to struggle, and we're not sure what's going on, and it's impacting how we relate to each other. And it wasn't until after my mother passed that we got a diagnosis, and it was late-stage Lyme. The church that we were attending that was so strong before began to collapse. I actually thought that that was the bottom. After the enemy has already attacked your parents and your wife, now he goes after your kids, struggling with addiction and borderline homelessness. Then after that, now I'm going to attack your business. I had shifted completely to the Lord's going to deliver me away from this to will the Lord just help me to endure it? Because I had lost hope that these things would ever get resolved. What if life doesn't change? What if things don't get better? What if my wife never gets healed? What if my son does show up in the newspaper? After asking for years, are you going to deliver me and deliver us through these things? It was like, well, Lord, I just need to know if you're there because I'm not seeing the resolution. He will never leave you nor forsake you. I had to just meditate on that. That's true. I may not feel it, but it had to be true. I began to just really cry out to him in a way that I hadn't done before. I found one place in the house. There's a chair that I could sit in. It was away from everybody else, and after everyone went to sleep, I could sit there, and I felt, at least for that moment, as long as I was there, everything else could go away. It was just he and I. He became enough. When your emotional tank is empty and you have nowhere to go, and you go to him, and he meets those needs over and over and over again. At some point, you realize, I didn't really need those other things to begin with. The Bible promises that we're going to have trials and tribulations. Like, we're literally a target. The enemy hates God's creation, and he specifically hates God's children. When you're a Christian business owner, your business represents a target the enemy wants to take out. You should fully expect that you'll come under attack. You are serving on the winning side. But do not be surprised when you start taking fire. When I first started going through all these trials, I was not joyful whatsoever. I was grieving. I was almost depressed, to be honest with you. When I transitioned from feeling like a victim to understanding that I belong to God and that I am actually a soldier in the kingdom, that changed my mindset. Soldiers fight. I'm not going to just sit here and get shot at. I've got weapons, so I'm going to fire back. And in fact, things that I would do would be the opposite. If he wanted me to walk away from my business, no, I'm going to stay in the business. Don't give here. Oh, absolutely, I'm going to give. Because that's what soldiers do. When you get shot at, you don't go hide, you shoot back. The enemy will make all kinds of reasons for you to walk away from the story God's trying to write in your life. If the circumstances don't change and God's there, I'm good. Yeah, I want things to change. But I'm going to see the goodness of the Lord with him, whether those circumstances all align like I want them to or not.